He started off as a player in Western Province. He was here for most of his life and he ended up being a coach. And we're looking forward to listening today and to getting some insights and experiences from our special guest, Robbie Fleck.
Thank you, Tini. Good to be here.
It's well known that you had a fantastic also Springbok and rugby career, and specifically at Western Province.
Yes, it did end quite early. It finished up when I was 29, so I felt that there was still probably another 3 or 4 years left to me, and I felt that I probably still had a lot more to offer, both on and off the field, especially from a leadership point of view at Bath. I was loving my time at Bath, and I just signed another 2-year deal to take me into that sort of senior role there. But it was a calf injury that took me down at the end of the day. When you leave rugby, it's almost like a divorce, you know, and you're going through certain challenges and there's something missing, you know, and you go through, you know, certain emotional stages, you know, but what I did find that because I'd finished so early, that there was this yearning to go back to the game, and I couldn't play, so I wanted to contribute in some sort of way and still see if I've got that fire, you know, it's that burning desire to be part of rugby. And so John Dobson actually just asked me, he said, do you want to come and help out with the backs? And at that stage, Varsity Cup was just coming into play, and so there was no sort of I didn't say, look, I want to become a coach. You know, I'd made the decision that I'm now going to get into business and I've got to support my family, you know, but it was more sort of the passion and the fun side that I wanted to get involved in coaching. But once I was there, you know, I was hooked immediately on coaching. You know, it was the environment that John had set up at UCT, and they talk about Dobbo's house and how he built it. And just, you know, from a culture point of view, and I learned so much from him about coaching, you know, the other side of coaching, you know, and probably the most important part of coaching, you know, leadership and culture and how everybody gels and works together and having fun, you know, while you do it. So I was big on the technical side. And as I went through my years at UCT, I obviously learned a huge amount from him. And then I started to look at other coaches and thinking back, you know, and then I started to think, okay, well, what is, you know, my style and what's the way I want to be? So I had zero experience as a head coach. So it was a daunting task, you know, taking over a franchise like the Stormers, which is, you know, a world brand and some brilliant players with exceptional Springboks. It certainly was a massive challenge, and I had to learn on the run. From a technical point of view, I felt I was strong enough to be a head coach. I knew all aspects of the game, so I was quite comfortable talking to coaches and players and to the public about the game and the way the game should be played. But certainly from being a leader and the big decision maker, there was a lot of pressure there too, and I didn't know what I was doing, but you know, they let me go, they let me run with it. You know, everybody needs a mentor or a coach, you know, whether it's in business or in rugby or sport. I think that coaching is hugely important in the success of any individual. One thing, you need to be coachable, first up, and you know, and you need to be humble and willing to learn. And I guess as I grew, you know, and was coached or mentored, I started to, you know, acquire my own sort of unique way. No leader is the same, and no businessman or player is the same. What's important is that you don't become a copycat coach or a copycat mentor. You know, you've got to become, you know, who you are, authentic. I think as a new coach or a leader or a CEO coming into a new environment, a new company, they have to understand what was done in the past. You know, what was fundamentally the business or the team built on what were those successes. If you disrespect or disregard those successes and those fundamentals or those pillars or whatever it was built on, you know, I think the house is going to fall, because already something was built and there's solid foundations in place. There had to be something of me that had to go into the strategy, the way the team behaved, you know, culturally, the way the team played. You know, the philosophies behind it. There had to be something of Robbie Fleck, and whether that was the Robbie Fleck, the rugby player, or the coach, or the, you know, the human, or certain characteristics that had to come into play, because then it was natural and I could give of my all. I wanted to create a safe environment that, you know, you could be yourself, you could be authentic, you know, without anybody criticizing you. because I felt that was the best way that the players could perform and behave, and they get to know each other. There had to be transparency. So these are all things that I wanted to come into the team culturally. Then obviously there was a change in the presidency, and without going into too much detail, you know, it just became a chaotic environment of uncertainty that wasn't safe. And you know, you're looking over your shoulder, you don't know what's going on. And from clear communication lines in the first 2 years to zero communication in the last 2 years. And my job as the leader of the team was to protect the team. So that's what I did. You know, I just sort of maybe pulled back, and I ring-fenced that team, and I just ensured that they felt good and safe, and we tried to get on with our job. The skills that I had acquired, both as a player and as an assistant coach, and now as a head coach, and specifically as a head coach in those last 4 years, through challenging times, through good times, I've learned so much that I can take into the business world. It's frightening. I've got no technical skills in business, but I've got a huge amount of skills in terms of leading and you know, running a team, and certain values that I learned along the way that I can add in any business environment. The biggest thing that I see for any business or team to succeed is a safe environment. Whether psychological safety or whatever you want to call it, there has to be a safe environment for people to thrive. And you have to be authentically yourself. And if you can't be yourself, then you're in the wrong company or you're in the wrong team. When there's clear lines of communication, there's transparency, there's a safe environment for the employees or the players or whoever it is, the leaders to thrive in, to be themselves, then you've got a successful culture and the team will operate. And if they feel safe and they feel welcome, they can be themselves, then they don't want to go to another team. They don't want to go to another company. So they'll do whatever it takes to stay there. And therefore the performances go up. So the results are the end product and the money, whatever's the end product. But it's about the people and how they feel and how they can thrive in that company or that team environment. That for me is the most important learning that I've had over the last couple of years.